I think every voice and every different point of view deserves at least to be able to get its proper airing in public, whether it's on YouTube or elsewhere. However, I have to admit that I have some schadenfreude from the news that I'm about to share with you. So this is from Abby Martin, and let's hear what she has to say.
Hey everyone, I'm Abby Martin. In case you didn't hear, a couple months ago we had to shut down Empire Files because U.S. sanctions on Venezuela made it impossible to receive funding through Telesur. You can read our full account about what happened on MediaRoots.org. Now, it's been such an honor to do this show for the past 3 years, and throughout that time your feedback has meant so much, which is why when we heard we couldn't continue, we didn't want to give up without a fight. So a week ago we launched a fundraiser on GoFundMe and Patreon. We're very overwhelmed with the amount of support we've received so far, and I wanted to personally thank each and every one of you for your donations, large and small. You've not only given us the resources to continue production, but the inspiration to keep going. We're excited to announce that we've officially raised enough funds to finish documentaries from our unreleased footage from the Gaza protests, from on the ground in Colombia, and to bring you several other new episodes. So once again, a sincere thank you to everyone who has made that possible. But we're still appealing for funds because we want to keep this show going well beyond that. So if you haven't donated yet...
So yeah, if you want to support a complete bitch who is a liar and who took money from a government that's basically starving its people and also apparently causing, Arkancides over in Caracas. I think we'll start calling them Caracasides. Because I think over the weekend, one of the people who was part of the whole supposed drone coup or whatever fell from a jail. Fell, I think, from like one of the top floors of a massive jail in Caracas, which is the capital of Venezuela. This woman, Abby Martin, can honestly go fuck herself. She is possibly, I think I said a couple days ago to my friend Carlos, who I told him to watch this other video that I'm about to show you part of. I call her the Ashley Simpson of news, okay? And there's a lot of pieces of crap on the news, too, that have nothing to do with Venezuela, including in the corporate media here in the USA. But this is a special category of fake. This is a person who basically says, while the country is basically falling apart and can barely even keep water running, can't even keep the electricity on, that they should pay for bullshit propaganda that portrays America as the culprit through her. So this is the story from MediaRoots.org. It says that the Empire Files is temporarily appealing for donations on a one-time and monthly basis to continue production in the midst of U.S. attacks on the Telesur network. As a result of U.S. sanctions against Venezuela, the Empire Files has been forced to completely shut down operations. The Empire Files, which airs on Telesur throughout Latin America and on Free Speech TV and the Real News Network in the United States, has been funded through a contract with the Telesur network. As Abby Martin's primary broadcast, it has released over 100 documentaries, interviews, and on-the-ground exposés from battlefields in Palestine, Venezuela, and beyond. Geez, battlefields. I didn't know Venezuela was at war. As a result of financial attacks by the U.S. government on the primary source of Telesur's funding, production was halted before the completion of Empire Files Season 2. Season 3, contracted for 26 episodes, was scheduled to begin on July 1st, but with the U.S. government blocking wire transfers that originate in Venezuela, the ability to receive funding has not been possible. I have covered on this network. I want you guys to listen. I've covered videos for months, if not for over a year, on the fact that Venezuela can barely even pay to maintain its oil industry, which is what is essential to keeping it afloat economically, which it isn't. And this bitch, this dumbass, wants the people of Venezuela to basically pay for her crappy documentaries about how everybody is being oppressed except for the people of Venezuela. This is Lauren Steiner from the Robust Opposition interviewing Abby Martin and her boyfriend, Mike.
This is Lauren Steiner from the Robust Opposition. I'm here with my
Look how awesome we are while people are eating fucking dogs.
Special guests, Abby Martin and Mike Preisner from the Empire Files. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great. Thank you so much for hosting this, Lauren.
I couldn't be more of a cunt if I tried.
Very happy to be here. Thank you.
Yes, we're hosting a fundraiser for the show, The Empire Files, because the funding was cut off, and we're going to get into the reason for that shortly. But I am a great admirer of Abby and Mike's work. They are the kind of fearless, independent journalists that we need right now to counter the propaganda from the mainstream media, the corporate mainstream media, who are essentially...
We are against the corporate media, therefore we will create a media funded by one of the most corrupt nations in South America that basically has looted the country and is run by people who have basically expense accounts that even the Shah could probably dream of over in Spain. That's basically their point.
Stenographers for the corporate state. So it's very important that we support alternative independent media like the kind...
Alternative independent media funded by Nicolas Maduro, a bus driver who was designated president by all of his commie followers.
Done by Abby and Mike. So I'm going to get into the kind of programming they do, but for people who watch my show and when I interview activists, I always ask them, what was it in your childhood, in your upbringing, that caused you to become concerned about social justice?
I saw a bunch of starving children on TV and I decided, why can't this happen elsewhere? So, enough of that. This is an hour-long interview. Throughout the interview, it's astounding how not self-aware these pieces of crap are. I hate these people, all three of them, by the way. Lauren Steiner, who is, supposedly a progressive journalist as well. I sent her, for a fact, and I can send you a screenshot if you want it. I sent her my story from the Mattis file, a story that would have helped her to fight MSNBC, to probably deal a huge blow to Rachel Maddow, about how Rachel Maddow smeared some of her supporters, these Bernie Sanders people, as Russian bots. And what she said to me? Well, this is very well written and it's pretty good, but it's not newsworthy. Well, fuck you, Lauren Steiner. You can go fuck yourself. The Venezuelan government can eat ass, and so can these two jackasses. What's very ironic is that the reason that Telesur cannot really pay for these people is, yes, government sanctions are making it prohibitive for these people to receive funds from Venezuela. Understandable excuse. However, you have to realize that they could have just stayed in Venezuela, right? Well, according to their own account, which is in this video, they went to these huarimbas in Venezuela, these violent protests against the government. And normally they don't have a problem with violent protests as long as they happen in Gaza, St. Louis, Paris, basically anywhere besides Venezuela. Everywhere else, you're allowed to basically assault police officers, fly incendiary kites, attack bystanders, all sorts of things. Everywhere else, it's like the world is engulfed in a populist revolution, and in Venezuela, it's a CIA coup. It's what do you call it? It's Operation Condor all over again. Operation Condor is a real thing, but they basically, if they have blood coming out in their stool, they blame it on Operation Condor. This is how retarded these people are. They are lower than filth. Okay? So you can watch the whole video there. Why am I raging out at these people? Well, Argentina pulled out of this leftist piece of crap network, Telesur, after the government was replaced in 2016. The government, by the way, the new government is not doing too well either, which is a right-wing government. And that's where, that's where it all started to roll down the hill for Telesur. Not that it probably wouldn't have happened anyway, because Venezuela is really in the red financially in either case. So you have this tightening noose of financial difficulty on Venezuela. Of course, there's the sanctions as well. I've gone on the record several times saying I don't support sanctions. I think sanctions is a bad approach. I think Venezuela would be failing either way. Venezuela. Let me explain to you something. If you live in a country that does trade with India and China, sanctions don't matter. Those are the two most important countries for trade if you can't do trade with the United States. So it's not good if you can't do trade with the United States, but it doesn't mean that you can't do trade with the rest of the world. Those are the two countries, India and China, that are the most important. Okay, if you can't do business with the USA. They can also do business with the EU, by the way. There's nothing preventing the EU from buying Venezuelan goods if they're even produced anymore. There's tons of mining concerns that are still operating in Venezuela. Some of them, by the way, using slave labor in the Arco Minero, which I've covered before. This fucking bitch, Abby Martin, didn't say anything back in 2013 when Venezuela's opposition TV station was bullied into selling over to the government. And now it's basically just another propaganda network, Global Visión. So I'm not going to belabor the point. By the way, on the topic of censorship / issues of getting your voice out, I have I did the last video talking about my BitChute channel. I encourage you again, please subscribe to my BitChute channel. It is probably the best place to at least get up-to-date stuff. Usually within a couple hours of my YouTube videos uploading, it will be on BitChute. It automatically populates. There's much better commenting on BitChute. So please subscribe to that one. You can subscribe to me on Minds as well. I'm sharing more and more often on Minds. On GAB.AI, my username is @Starscream85. On Minds, it's @ChefLeopard. On BitChute, Chef Leopard. And anywhere else you can find me, there's Twitter. There's I still do some stuff on Facebook. So let me know. Also, Patreon. Don't forget Patreon. I will start a tiered system of rewards for Patreon members. If you want to do it, no pressure. But in any case, I don't give a fuck if this Empire Files is crowdfunding money. They're basically getting dumbasses to support their own failed vision that obviously didn't work when they were at Telesur. Is the Telesur a profitable network? Do the people of Venezuela see any benefit from Telesur? Let me ask you that. People who can barely even find gasoline in a country that has the largest oil reserves in the world, people who often are creeping across borders into countries where people are now fearing migrant crises. I guess they really find it comforting that Abby Martin was receiving her contract checks from Telesur. That's about it. I'll talk to you guys later. You know where to find me. Please like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the other channel, Razor Ray Live Wounds. Also the channel on BitChute, Chef Leopard. And comment when it uploads. And I'll see you guys later.